Good morning, welcome back to another video. My name is Jeanette, and today is a whole food plant-based basics video where we're going to be talking about spinach, and then I have a very easy recipe to show you. And I'm about ready to go for my walk first. It is this kind of a morning. It's mid-October. It's time for the winter coat, the scarf, and the hat because it is a balmy 38 degrees outside. So it's the perfect day to make some warming foods, and I have a very easy sauteed spinach recipe that I will show you when I get back. Okay, let's talk about spinach, and I have my little cheat sheet here to help me along. Spinach is one of the leafy green vegetables, and in my opinion, it's one of the more mild ones, especially baby spinach. So it's a good one to get started with if you're not familiar with leafy greens. Some other leafy greens you might have heard of and may have seen at your grocery store include kale, chard, arugula, collards, bok choy, escarole, broccoli rabe or rapini, and beet greens. You know, those greens that might be attached to beets themselves, don't throw those away. Those are really good. Spinach can be eaten raw, but it's also great if it's steamed or cooked, like sauteed or baked, maybe into a casserole. You might see it included in soups or folded into an omelet or pastas or grain bowls. You can even make dips with it, so it's a very versatile leafy green. If you've done any exploring in the plant-based world, you may have heard of a substance called nitric oxide, and the body produces this naturally. It's produced inside the arteries. It tends to decrease in production as we age, but a healthy diet can help us out. And its function is to protect the insides of the blood vessels. It helps to relax them, and it helps to dilate them or widen them, which would bring more blood, oxygen, and nutrients to the tissues. Vegetables, particularly the leafy greens, tend to be high in nitrates, so when we eat them, our bodies can then produce the nitric oxide. And I am not providing any medical advice in this video or on this channel. I'm just speaking from my experience working in the healthcare field, but leafy greens can be high in vitamin K. Vitamin K is involved in the clotting function of our blood, and if you take a medication like Coumadin or warfarin, then the function of that drug is to inhibit vitamin K, so you'll definitely want to talk to your doctor before you incorporate leafy greens. So if you're on any kind of anticoagulant, antiplatelet, or blood thinner medication, I would definitely speak to your personal physician before you incorporate leafy greens. So I'm working with baby spinach here today. I don't promote any particular brand. This is just the one that I picked up at the store. Quite often I can find it already in a box like this or a package, and a lot of times it's already washed, which is nice and convenient. So I'll show you what the leaves look like. I'll pick 3 random ones here, but they're nice and bright green. They're different sizes, but this is baby spinach. So it often comes with a little stem on it and this beautiful tender leafy green. And it looks like a lot in one of these packages, but when you cook down leafy greens, they wilt down to next to nothing. So you'll see this in just a minute. All right, we're gonna get going. Once we get started, it takes very little time. But if anybody asks, I just wanted to show you the pan that I use now. It's called a Scan Pan CTX. They're made in Denmark, they're non-stick and pretty non-toxic from what I understand. I learned about it by watching Dr. Weil's videos, and I really love it. I've had it for about a year, and you can see it's still in excellent shape. It's very durable. I'm not promoting it. I just, in case anybody asks, that's what I've been using for the past year, and I really like it. I usually don't have to put any oil in the pan, but it depends on what I'm cooking. Sometimes a light spray or so of olive oil in here is all I need, just to prevent certain foods from sticking. We're not going to use any oil today. If you wanted to, you could use a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, but baby spinach is so mild, I really don't need to add any oil to this dish, and it's going to be really good. Okay, so I just put a little splash of water in the pan. I might not even need that, honestly, but I keep a little water on hand just in case I need to help it along and prevent it from sticking or burning. And the first thing I'm going to add is a little bit of minced garlic, like a clove here. And I just use the minced garlic in a jar here. You could use fresh too if you wanted to. So we're gonna get that going. Let the garlic saute for just about 30 seconds to a minute. and then we'll put the spinach in. And I have my pan over medium heat, so I let that saute or heat up at least for about a minute or so. Now I'm gonna put in my spinach. Now I've already used a little bit of this the other day for a dish, so it's not a full container, but it's about 3/4. I'm just gonna put it all in the pan here. So you can see we have quite a bit of spinach in there. After it sautés down, it's gonna be very, very small. It's gonna be next to nothing. So I just let this go over medium heat until it wilts down. Once it gets going, it really only takes a couple of minutes, and you don't want to overcook greens if you can help it. Just get them to wilt down and you should be good. We're about 1.5 minutes in, and you can already see how much the volume has reduced on this. We're at 2 minutes at this point, and you can see we now have a nice dark green color. Our volume has reduced quite a bit. I'm going to let it go for another 30 seconds to a minute, just to get some of these stems to soften up a little bit more. Okay, we're at 3 minutes. I'm going to turn the heat off, and you can see we started with a pan full of spinach, and this is what we end up with. So from a 5-ounce box of fresh baby spinach, this is what we ended up with, okay? It cooks down to next to nothing. Now, there are different ways to season this. You could put any kind of spices you want in here, really. You could add a little salt if you needed to, or a little pepper, but taste it first, because sometimes the leafy greens have a natural saltiness all by themselves. You might want to put a little soy sauce or maybe Bragg's liquid aminos in here, maybe a few drops of balsamic vinegar. I am actually going to add this to my savory oats this morning, which I showed in the oats video, which I'll try to put a card up here, at least down in the description box, a link to that video. But this is going to go in my savory oats this morning. You could do anything with this. You could put it on top of a loaded baked potato. You could stir it into your pasta. You could eat it by itself as a side dish. You could blend this into a dip, put it into a grain bowl, bake it into a casserole. I mean, you wouldn't really have to saute it first to do that, but you get the drift. There's a lot you can do with sauteed fresh spinach. Sometimes you may want or need fresh spinach for something, but I also keep frozen spinach on hand. And I know frozen produce doesn't have the same taste or texture as fresh, but I always keep some frozen on hand, and it's very economical. I think I paid $3 or maybe even $4 for that box, that 5-ounce box of organic fresh spinach, and I think I paid $1.99 for a 1-pound bag of frozen spinach. So this is great if I need like a quick side dish. Sometimes I'll throw it in with my sauteed mushrooms, and I have my little mushroom spinach thing that I can put into other dishes. I can throw this into my savory oatmeal and cook it. You can make this into a dip. You can put it into a soup. It's really handy, I think, to have frozen spinach on hand as well. That's going to do it for today's whole food plant-based basics. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you have any other ideas about spinach, or maybe your favorite way of preparing or eating it, please leave a comment down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.